Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be reading The Golden Bread. So let's jump right in. Once upon a time there was a poor widow who had 2 sons. She barely had enough money to give them bread to eat, so she would take a small amount of flour, make a loaf of bread and cut it in half and give one half to her older son and the other half to her younger son. Then they would go out into the fields and pick up sticks for a fire, and then they would eat the bread together. One day after doing this, the boys went out to the field and found a small golden loaf of bread. They took it home to their mother, who was very surprised because she knew that the only people who baked golden bread lived far away in a big palace. She told her sons to get dressed in their best clothes, and then they all set off toward the palace to see who had baked the bread. On the way, they met a little girl who was crying. "Why are you crying?" asked the youngest boy. "My doll has fallen into the well and I can't get her out," she replied. The youngest boy looked down into the well and said, "Don't worry, I will get her out for you." He climbed down into the well and got the doll out. The girl was very happy and said, "You are such a good boy. Would you like to have a beautiful horse to ride on? Here is my horse. You can ride on it." "Oh, thank you," he said. "But I already have a horse at home." She said, "Well, then how about a golden ring?" And he said, "No, thank you." She insisted that he at least take some golden bread from the sack that she had with her. He agreed and took a piece with him to give to his mother. When they arrived at the palace, the king wasn't there, but the queen came to the door. The widow told her that they had found the golden bread and asked if she could please tell them who had baked it. The queen invited them inside and told them that she would bake a new golden loaf and they could eat it while they waited for the king to come home. While the bread was baking, the queen gave the older boy a golden ring and the younger boy a golden crown. When the king came home, they told him what had happened and showed him the golden crown and the golden ring. The king was very angry and ordered that they be thrown into the dungeon until he returned. Meanwhile, the widow was very upset because her sons were in prison, so she went to see the king. She fell to her knees and begged him to release her sons. The king was very much in love with the golden crown, so he told her that she could have her son back if she could guess what was inside of it. The widow didn't know what to do, so she took the crown to the river and asked the fish if they knew what was inside. One fish replied that there was a small pearl inside. The widow took the crown back to the king and told him that she knew what was inside of it, but he didn't believe her. He took the crown and dipped it into a goblet of wine. If it was full of pearls, they would float to the top. But when the crown was lifted from the goblet, the pearls were still inside. The king was very surprised, and he kept his word. He released the younger boy and gave the widow a bag of gold. A few days later, the king remembered the golden ring that the older boy had brought him. He couldn't take his eyes off of it, but it didn't have any jewels or engravings. It was just a plain golden ring. As the king was looking at it, his wife came in and asked him what was wrong. He told her about the ring and how it had been bothering him. She suggested that maybe it was enchanted, and to prove it, she wanted to try wearing it on her finger. It was a perfect fit, and as soon as she put it on, she felt a magical power surge through her body. She told the king that he should take it off immediately, but he didn't listen. He wanted to keep the ring. In the morning, when the king woke up, everything was different. His wife was gone, and in her place was a beautiful young woman. He asked her who she was, and she replied, "I am your wife. You recognize me, but I don't know you. Who are you?" The king couldn't believe what he was hearing. All he could say was, "I am the king." "Oh, really?" she replied. "Then why aren't you wearing your crown?" The king ran to get the golden crown, but when he put it on, it turned the color of lead. The queen laughed and said, "See, now you look like a pauper." Then she rode away on a white horse, and the king was left there all alone. The king was so sad because he had lost his wife and his dignity. So he climbed onto a horse and set off to find her. As he was riding through the forest, he heard someone crying. He stopped and asked what was wrong, and she told him that her little brother had fallen into a deep pit and that she couldn't get him out. The king told her that he would help, and he called for his men to come dig him out. Once he was free, the king noticed that the boy had a golden ring on his finger. He took it off and gave it to the grateful father. And when the king returned home, he gave the ring to his wife. It was a perfect fit, and as soon as she put it on, the magic returned to her. She was so happy to have her powers back that she kissed the king and made him young again. And they lived happily ever after.